She was attacked by what appears to be essentially a robot.
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
This man is not a hero, he's a criminal. Shut up!
Admiral's Log 0418.25 on patrol outside Rigel. With me is tag team member. It's Resolute Germ. Hey Germ, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, and hello to our audience and everyone who's going to come through later. It's YouTube only today, so let's see how they treat this opportunity. I know that yesterday I talked with Krimon about a couple of things, but I haven't had a chance to go through them with you. And you have shown the same self-preservation instincts that you've shown before. You did not watch the Fantastic Four trailer.
No, I didn't. I saw one picture of that Silver Smurfette and just said, fuck it.
Ooh, that one was a loss in every sense of the word. Silver Smurfette didn't work. She didn't look very good. No one wants it. It's an amalgam of other stories. It's a slap in the face, and people are a little more than just a bit upset. I think that maybe yesterday was the end for that movie's being, any hope for that movie. It's just not hopeful that movie goes anywhere after yesterday. Yesterday, people saw. First of all, why is the Thing shorter than Sue Storm and shorter than Pedro Pascal?
Because the actor is a little bit shorter than them, and apparently Disney doesn't know how to augment height with their CGI.
Why does the Thing's head change size all the time? Why is it smaller than Pedro's and Vanessa's, and then bigger, and then smaller? They went for the right thing with the aesthetic with the stony brow, but it didn't work at all. At all. I mean, it was freaking disaster. And hello to everyone who's out there. Hit those like and follow buttons. Lombardi, 1969. Hello. John, hello. Guys, it's good to see you. Do me a favor. Hit those like buttons. Make sure you're still subscribed. Also, anyone coming through later, please leave me a comment. Ask me a question. We're trying to grow this. And, with this Friday afternoon makeup show, just kind of jumping in out of the ether, it can be fun. Yeah, it's the afternoon special. Exactly. John's got it. We have the Luann platter, 2 for 1. So, yeah, I don't know, Germ. What was your relationship with Fantastic Four, if any?
Primarily through the early 90s cartoon.
But that was a high-quality cartoon.
Yeah, very high quality. Came out just about the same time the original 90s Iron Man cartoon came out.
Yes.
That was all part of the big rush of the 90s. Marvel, they're capitalizing on all the comic success they're having. They pushed in a whole bunch of cartoons, and
they took note of Batman. They took note of the Batman animated series too. They took note of that in their tone. They didn't go for the exact same thing, but they realized, okay, this is the baseline for quality. This is the baseline for story quality, and this is the baseline for animation. Right? Batman sets the bar first, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was, I believe, 1992. Slowly, the Marvel starts catching up. They never quite got to the same story quality or animation quality that Batman did, but
no, but there's a
for
lot
the
less
aesthetic
Batman.
of Marvel,
There's a lot of Marvel.
Oh yeah, they started shooting out the Marvel series as fast as they could.
We got a big long X-Men series. We have a pretty darn good Spider-Man series.
Yeah, those were the two actual successful ones. The others, I believe, went to syndication.
The Spider-Man one could only succeed because it was at least decently made. Spider-Man had the expected voice, and Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah. This is well before Miles Morales was ever even a concept.
Miles who?
Yeah.
I think that somebody said the other day they thought that Miles Morales as a character is a little more fleshed out and a little more real than the other knockoffs. They felt that he had more of a uniqueness from Spider-Man than the other knockoffs. I don't know.
They do give him a lot more time than like Spider-Man or yeah.
She-Hulk was just created out of nowhere with that blood-on-blood transfer.
A lot more popular character, though. They did a lot better work for her comic, and because that was decades ago.
They were still in something of their own silver age in this time that the She-Hulk shows up. She-Hulk shows up in like the late 70s for the first time?
I believe that's right. I'm not huge on comics, so I would know when they pop up in animation, not on page.
Gotcha. So at any rate, the Marvel thing has seemingly come to a point now where they're trying to get back to their animation. Animation was clearly the good old days for this stuff, and it seems to be where their more tactile and enjoyable plots are coming from. Don't ask me why. Don't call me crazy, but it seems to be like in their animated world, we had a lot more consistency. It doesn't start as high up as Batman 89, but we have a show it's pretty good and it doesn't have a huge drop off and it has a sense of humor, which a lot of this stuff lacks. I guess the Marvel stuff could not be accused of having no sense of humor, but it was maybe even it's a little dry, right?
Some of them were a little dry, campy at times. Stan Lee was usually doing a intro for some of the episodes, especially on Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they needed him to talk it up and talk people into watching it. It helped.
Yeah.
And his career is starting to as just an amateur celebrity, not an expert comic guy, but like going into the world of celebrity. He had been like a small-time celebrity who would speak at like things similar to a Star Trek convention since like the 70s. But now he's really starting to gain some acclaim, and people are calling him like, a modern-day sort of Tolkien. And, going in another direction with their beliefs about him. And he's showing up in stuff like Mallrats at the time that these shows are building. So he's sort of advancing on two fronts and having a pretty good time of it. This Fantastic Four thing looks horrible, bro. All the casting seems wrong. I don't buy I don't buy Pedro Pascal as any kind of Reed Richards. I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to buy Pedro as anything but what he is. I won't say what he is because that's probably defamation.
I don't know what he is. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't believe what's her name? No, Dakota Johnson, Don Johnson's daughter. I don't believe she has anything to fear from him. Like, I don't think he's going to touch her.
Yeah, I think the only thing that anyone has to fear from old Pedro is if you have some of his favorite powdered substance.
Is that something he's known for? I couldn't believe that. I mean, it does look like he's got like a grooming problem for sure. There's something wrong with Pedro, like as far as that goes. Like, I don't think he's like say insane or anything like that, but there's something wrong with Pedro as far as all that goes. He dresses really, really bad. like an infant.
Yeah.
Like his clothing is worse than anyone else's. We're talking short hot pants with push-up platform 10-hole Doc Martens with a fuchsia red trench coat with a pirate shirt.
Yeah, and
apparently shaves his legs.
I hope it's something like that that's causing him to make decisions like
What, that he's
outfit.
simply gay and he dresses bad? He dresses in a way that we can't understand. I got to be honest. I live in a city that has like a decent, like a large enough population of gay people. I know enough. I don't think any self-respecting gay man would be allowed to walk around like that. I think the other gay guys would get on him, unless you're some kind of crazy gimp or one of those types. I mean, that is beyond flamboyant. That is clueless. The way Pedro dresses is the worst. He looks like Carmen Sandiego, but as a stripper.
Yeah, that's why I assume there's substance involved to make him make those decisions.
Oh, I think he's just that dumb. I don't think he's a very smart man. And we've gone a million miles on this photograph of idiot Pedro Pascal. And I mean, idiot's the only word. He is, by the way, like, he'll make you ashamed of whatever you are. Like, I don't know that, like, does this make sense when I say this? Can people start calling Michael Pena? Like, he has a phone too? He's just as Mexican. He's just as Mexican. Call him.
Anybody else.
This is what I'm talking about, guys. Me and Jerome will get out of the way. Let us move out of the way here so you can see this. How this grown man dresses. It's really something. Whoop, that's a little too small. There you go. This is a typical Pedro outfit. This is how bad it is. This is exactly what I described. Okay, he's not wearing the pirate shirt, though. He's wearing a thin tie rocker shirt. But you can see the problem here. That's a nice coat for a hooker? Who wears that coat?
It's a nice coat if you're going to a goth vampire party in 1989.
The pants then just don't fit. They're defiantly weird. Where's the goth vampire party? Florida? Like Miami?
Apparently.
He didn't shave his legs. I don't know whether to feel good about that or not. I think he couldn't look dumber, though. I mean, this is a bad look. He looks like an infant idiot. And again, here, Pedro looks very soap dodgerish. Do you know what I'm saying?
I've never heard that term before.
Hey, Brandon Looney Tunes. A soap dodger is someone who doesn't like to shower for unknown reasons. It's been applied in a good way to Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt, and in a bad way to, like, say, like Joaquin Phoenix, who just shows up looking like he's been living in a hole. You know how a lot of actors just don't give a shit and throw on clothes and they show up someplace looking weird and inappropriate? This is different. Like, this is not Timothy Chalamet wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and like a $600 jacket with like a weird Cuban like necklace or something. This is like he decided to do. He the shirt matches the jacket. He wanted to look this way. Like, it's not a good look, but that is a coordinated look. It's called freaking Eddie Munster at his high school reunion, or like his 30th high school reunion.
Yeah, it does look like Eddie Munster later years.
It's the only thing I can come up with that makes this look make any sense. So whenever we see Pedro, the thing is, Doomcock was talking about him the other day, and he said, you know, Pedro always looks so well groomed, and, you know, he's got a perfectly coiffed mustache. That's when he's working. When he is left to his own devices, as you can see, he just he may have slicked his hair back, but he always just like the fact that he never is clean shaven. He has like two different compromises. He has like the beard, no mustache, but he still has he has the mustache, no beard, but he still has like a beard. He cheats it. It's like beneath the chin. It's not a neck beard. It's an above the neck, but beneath the chin beard. He has almost like unconnected circle beard. It's like almost barely connected. He has the faintest of spit catchers, but then the rest of his face, it's like he's not doing a good job of shaving above that shadow line where he's using like the number one guard on his freaking personal groomer. He looks terrible. And most of the time when Pedro's out of character, he looks like shit. He looks he's not he looks like he's just intentionally not showering to look as bad as possible. He looks like a soap dodger. It was kind of like a trend for a while. Like this. Here's another
the
picture.
90s.
Yeah, here's a bunch of casual pictures of Pedro, and he dresses like a maroon. I mean, this is bad. Same-sex pimp? What is this look called? Dangerous meth dealer? This is his best look. This is the best look by far, and he's still got the wrong shirt on. You need
Gangster nerd, maybe.
This is just, he's got the right clothes on, but they're all the wrong colors. He has a tuxedo, that's appropriate, but it's a khaki tuxedo. That's a weird statement, but it's khaki. It's not like, say, bright fuchsia. But at the same time, the white shirt washes out with the white tie. He needed a black tie. Or, like, at this point, with that outfit, you can maybe go with the red shirt. As dumb as that sounds, the powder blue might be the best. But this is... So another defiantly stupid look, and he's standing next to someone who's like, could be Sammy Hagar. It's like the person next to him is like a working rock star. They don't have to worry about their look. Now here he is. Oh my God. What is with those pants? He's not even off the racking it. I mean, those pants, he looks like a chick who's wearing her boyfriend's pants.
I see that look every day. Half the people.
Is this a West Coast? Is this a West Coast
at Microsoft?
So this is the West Coast neo metrosexual / hetero flexible weirdo look is now the look with these leftover 80s gazelle glasses.
Yep, because it's a unisex look. It's man, woman, and everything else I see coming out of Microsoft. That's how they're dressing.
Nice clown pants. This is his best look. His jacket sucks, but it's the least bad look. I guess they're sequins, or he walked through a flock of birds. Again, here you can see what I'm talking about with the grooming. Look how poorly groomed he looks, Germ. Look at how badly groomed his face and hair are. You know, this is a premiere. He just shows up. You know, there's no professional hair and makeup. He's like, his beard isn't groomed in. He's shaved off half his spit catcher by mistake, and it's a wreck. Okay. He took off his idiot glasses. This is the least bad outfit yet. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks almost normal.
This is a good look for this idiot. Unbearable weight of massive talent at the Regal Essex Crossing. Pedro showed us the unbearable weight of being the best dressed in an all-white Fendi number. This article is saying that he dresses well. This generation's lost, Germ. This is called like Miami Vice pimp right here. Or cocaine weird. Dealer? Is he wearing is the suit pale pink? Or is it, the carpet is picking up on his suit?
I think it's the reflection of the carpet.
Yeah, because the further down his suit you look, at the ankles, it's almost pink. At the shoulders, it's white. It's too gradient. This is his next best look, although he looks like he woke up and just wore his bathrobe. He's wearing Steven Tyler's jacket.
Well, that means he's stealing from the best.
His fashion sense has a bit of a clue. All right, you know what?
If not someone just dressing him for all this.
It's like, so terrible.
His personal stylist, he must have slept with her or something, and she had just taken either one. They're just taking their revenge out on him slowly but surely.
Yeah, like I think his his fashion advisor secretly hates Pedro and Pedro hasn't figured it out yet. It looks like somebody took acid and drew this shirt. Hey, Reverend Burnfried Axwheeler, hey. Yeah, pooping and shooting, popping and shopping. Yeah, is German for HH. What are you looking at? Fashion. Yeah, we are kind of trying to figure out what's going on in the mind of Pedro here. This look, you know, he is like honestly, he's an alligator skin blazer away from pulling this off. This almost works. He always seems to match the carpet. All right, this is a terrible look, but it's the hat that really kills it. And why does Pedro... I'm going to say this. Pedro always looks like he's out, quote unquote, cruising. Cruising on the west side, okay?
Well, he is cruising for what you probably don't want to know.
He's looking for something other than a woman with this outfit. Be it drugs, be it a dude. I don't know. He's not looking for chicks. Hello, everybody. Spread the word. If you could do me a favor, tweet out off the browser that I'm live and let people just sort of know I'm here. I've been forced by the onslaught of bots to do everything I can to get on a show that doesn't have a filthy analytic. But it's forced me to kind of come on during the time that the bot swarmer's on, because if the bot swarm computer's tied up, it can't fuck up my analytic. They've carried off dozens of watch hours this month, so this is sort of a makeup show when I know that they can't really do nothing. But we're talking about the Weltgemeinschaft that takes for someone to dress this way, if you know what I mean. Burnfried. Burnfried will know the word Weltgemeinschaft. It's one of those words that had to make illegal in Germany after World War II. Do you know the term Zeitgeist, Germ? You've heard it, right?
Roughly. I've heard it.
All right, so Zeitgeist relates to like mindset, the way serendipity relates to like ironic. One's just a much more fancier and like maybe artistic way of saying it. But the Zeitgeist would be this. Pedro is wearing a fedora with a jacket, whereas we would say, in our Zeitgeist, if you're not Indiana Jones, post-1950 or so, if you're wearing a jacket and you need to wear a head covering, in American Zeitgeist, wouldn't a baseball cap be much more appropriate with this outfit? Like a Yankee cap, honestly, or whatever your favorite team is. You know what I mean? Like a dark baseball hat. Better than this fedora. Though this is his best look by far.
The fedora would really go with something like a suit.
This is something like a coat rather than a jacket. And he's wearing two jackets. He's wearing a Levi's trucker jacket with a leather jacket over it. And if you're going to wear a jacket, the top of a jacket, you would top a jacket with a coat. So it's still awkward here. And he looks terrible. Guys, your mom should have done better. Yeah, Zeitgeist, it's German. So the American Zeitgeist is you would never wear a baseball cap with an overcoat. Think of how that look is terrible. You know what I mean?
He looks kind of homeless.
He always looks kind of homeless. He's in need of a haircut. I think he only gets groomed by the people for parts. So here's another look. Holy throwback to the 90s, Germ.
90s, maybe putting it generously. It looks like the 70s.
You know what it is? In the late 90s, the 70s had a glorious moment of comeback where the clothes were a little more functional, but like just as fabulous. Like they weren't flaring bottoms, but like they were going back to the earth tones and they're going back to the floral prints. And it looks like the Versace that she has in Showgirls. And the thing is, in Showgirls, that button down Versace that guy has is worth like $900. Yeah, the Indiana Jones look is a look that a lot of us will go for in the wintertime. It works. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, it works. Ronald Reagan in those pre-1950s movies, that look does work. It is a little dated. You would want a cap more than a fedora with that look. And I mean, we are really taking a deep dive into fashion, but we have a real... Guys, do not do any of these things. These are the most terrible fashion mistakes you can make, I would say. What do you think, Jerem? Is there worse than this?
I'm sure there's worse, but not much.
By the way, they've never done this before, but there's the link to be a StreamYards person. You can be a StreamYardser. It just sticks it in there now. I have to like re-engage the defaults on my StreamYards. I had to play with it so much so that people couldn't attack the show. We hope. I have to take a whole bunch of non-engagement oriented steps with my stream, with the link and everything, so it's not that sticky and that you can't really follow it the way you would other links, and like it sucks for engagement. But you know what? If everyone just tweets out off the browser that I'm live, it'll kind of wake up YouTube. And it seems like people are just figuring it out now. But here it is. This is how you be a YouTubist. This is how to be a YouTubist. And if you do that and recommend me, like I guess I get money or something. I don't know. God knows that they make enough money. They should give like $50 for that referral, what they fucking charge. But 40 quarters for something that costs like almost like $600 for a year. It's crazy. So anyway, this is like one of those less toxic looks, and it looks like he just wears these, like, I'm gonna say permanent press or stretch spandex chinos, and he wears them all the time. We've seen the earth tone brown or brick-ish colored chinos like a few times. And this shirt really is just exaggerating every bad thing. Like, you would not want to tuck this in if you were Pedro without a jacket because it's making him look fat. How old's Pedro?
Fat's making him look fat. He's like
being kind of heavy is making him. He's in terrible shape for 45. That is a terrible physique for 45. He's like 20% above his optimal body mass. And he's an actor. His job is to be looked at. Ladies and gentlemen, if this slovenly dressed man could be a celebrity, and by the way, for an entire generation, he's dad, because he's played dad in so many roles. This is less bad than by a lot. This is the new best bad outfit. David makes one at Newhouse, kept it simple at Acne Studios, pink and ginger orange vacation shirt. Yeah, when he underthought it and just threw on was laying around, he did good. But these are the same pants as he wears with his leather jacket. And I think the same sneakers. So like he just throws the jeans on top. Yep, no, it's the same jeans. But it's a different pair of sneakers. So he's throwing us a couple of looks. I think we've seen these green sneakers before, but man, his look is just a disaster. This is, you know who he's dressed like, Germ? He's dressed like Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yeah, he does look like Weird Al.
Right? Oh no, that's not for you, Frank. Weird Al Yankovic is on the plane. By the way, it's not a Naked Gun movie if Weird Al Yankovic isn't in the movie. Weird Al needs to be a movie. Hey, sit down. Good to see you, my man. We talked a little about the Star Trek thing you did. We'll talk more. Put it in the comments if you want, though, and I'll paste it and re-put it in there as a link. Now, this is, wow, by default, his best look of all, unless he's wearing clown pants, which is entirely accurate, or they photoshopped his face into someone who doesn't dress like an asshole. Here he is with Oscar Isaac, who is basically dressed acceptably bad. Is that the way you put it? It's acceptably bad. I don't get the working Joe black jacket look, but Pedro might be beating out Oscar Isaac here. Oscar Isaac, both these people's bodies are way too small for their heads. Oscar Isaac has a really huge head, and Pedro's head just always looks like it's South Parked onto his body, doesn't it?
Pedro, yeah, I haven't seen enough of Oscar Isaacs to. Kind of looks like he's just a floating head with the.
It sort of looks like Oscar. Yeah, Oscar Isaac sort of looks like he's got in a quick save with Pedro going for the grope down low. If you look at his hand, it looks like he's backhanding Pedro's fist or open palm away from the crotch. It was just like, oh, it's close enough, Pedro. You freaking weirdo. Am I right? Like Oscar Isaac, like the look on his face and the position of his hand is, whew, I just pulled off a save. Thank God. I just pulled off a very high risk save.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going for the block.
Yeah, it is. And guys, like I welcome all of you here in these unscheduled shows to have this many people. Please leave your browser open and stay thirsty, my friends. But yeah, so here's Oscar Isaac looking like he just is fending off what would be an illegal act by Pedro. Now here he is again, like it looks like he didn't have much time to think about it, or they called him late and he was just actually out being a normal person and didn't think. Or is this the further back in time we go, the better dressed he is? 2019, yeah, dressing like an asshole was a progressive addiction. I had this outfit in college and wore it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Might not be appropriate to where he is, but he may have just showed up at an event.
Yeah, it's probably around 2021 or so.
This is 2019.
He that's probably about the time he started getting really, really, really bad advice.
It's pretty bad advice, but like we can see watch the fashion falling off a cliff. Further back, he wants to self-destruct as a terribly dressed person, but I guess this is TNT's I Am the Night, which sounds like it would be about Batman with the YMC Wolf Cardi zip wool sweater. It's acceptably bad.
That was
doesn't
great
look
in
like a
1982.
child. It's a little bit timeless as saving him, and it's not over the top as saving him. He hasn't gone too far in a few too many places. The opening of Substance of Fire in New York City, Pedro showed he could fit in with the rest of us with the casual, I'm the A-plus college student getup. Accurate description, this look is less bad than other looks for this idiot.
Yeah,
this
is normal.
The further back, we're seeing a trend here. 2005. All right, he ain't looking too straight. Absurd person at Singular, the Biltmore Theater. Is that Jamie Gertz? Is that who that is? I think it's Jamie Gertz. Remember her from all those like Brat Pack movies and Less Than Zero, and she was love interest to Robert Downey Jr. in a couple of movies, and she was in a lot of TV, and she had her own sitcom in the 2000s called like Still Standing with the guy from the Full Monty. So this is like Savage Young Pedro. We're going back so far. This is 20 years ago that Pedro's only 25 here, and he does not look like he's a threat to Jamie Gertz, does he? And he's already a little overweight, isn't he?
Yeah, he has no interest in her.
And also, he has no interest in looking good for the other boys. I mean, he's overweight already. And he's very well. I'm not saying he's overweight now. Like I'm saying, he's very young to be this paunchy. He's 20, 25 here, and he's got a weird tattoo in the back of his hand. He's already started to doodle on himself.
So he's 30 at that point.
Now look, we fast forward to Kingsman and the Golden Circle. Not as long ago, he is dressed. He is really trying hard to look like an asshole here. This sweater might be self-disqualifying in and of itself. Jason Love! What's up, man? It was a while back. It's possible that the cowboy hat may have been Dave Filoni's fault. Oh, I'm thinking that if you leave... At this point, like, he doesn't check to see if it's his clothes or not leaving the party. This kind of carelessness only works when you're Keith Richards. And by the way, Keith Richards has never dressed this bad because he at least always leaves wearing his own or male pants. We can't say the same for Pedro. Right? Am I right, Jason Love? You know I'm right. I think we need to like maybe do a poll about how bad this does Pedro dress. What do you think the poll's option should be? Reverend, let's see, says, oh my God, have you seen... Oh, yeah, I would leave the R off of the Pedro, too. You're right. You're accurate. I can't say it. But Pedro's Silver Surferette, that Silver Surfer is such a step back from the 20 years ago Silver Surfer. It was rendered so poorly. Everyone's wondering if the real Silver Surfette, and I'm going to call her the Silver Surfer, because it's shilling and pandering. The Silver Surfer. What do you think of that one? Like Shield?
Yeah, I guess it works.
The Silver Surfer. You know what? I have a rule about not using anyone else's nicknames. I got to have my own. I'm a self-respecting YouTuber. I run a self-respecting drinking establishment here. I have to have my own nicknames, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I do prefer the Silver Smurfette.
Silver Smurfette is not Doomcock, so you can use it. She's not even silver. She's like a dull gray.
Yeah, at least in the 07 one, the Silver Surfer was actually silver. She is more like...
And had the correct origin story.
Yeah. But I saw a couple different explanations for her. They have a alt world comic where Norrin Rand's girlfriend joins them, and the more popular one I saw was it's Nova. Nova is described as having skin of mercury and bathed in orange flame, which would get nowhere close to what they showed in that trailer.
I have to word these in ways that don't get us in trouble. Complete self-loathing.
That's a good way to
I know how
describe
to
them.
put it. Yeah. Like, the first one I want to put is Megan's Law, but that's just not going to work as a poll. When we know people are watching and just, I'll tell you this, guys. YouTubing under the hammer of having people watching you, gunning for you, looking for you, reporting you, and messing with you, and openly saying they're going to do it, and encouraging people to come after you, it's gotten so bad I can really only go on when the harasser is on to have a solid analytic. You notice we're not getting attacked. Ex-offender, you think people will know what I mean by that? Ex-offender? That means Megan Laura Fire.
Yeah, people will get that.
Ex-offender. Complete self-loathing. He's gone beyond metrosexual. I'm going to put it as hetero-flexible. What do you think?
Yeah, that works.
And I probably won't get in trouble for that term. What would be so? Ex-offender, complete self-loathing, hetero-flexible. I guess likes, see results. Please, if you're coming through later, like the stream, leave me a comment. Tell me why people shouldn't dress like Pedro. This was just going to be our opening rant, but it seems like there's something to this here. Here are your three terms. Ex-offender, complete self-loathing, hetero-flexible. Should there be a path of honor where we give him any kind of credit, or like, see results should be the only other option?
I'd say someone's doing it to him. Like, offended personal.
Sabotaged? Sabotaged?
Yeah. Sabotage.
Sabotaged. We're a Star Trek channel. Sabotaged. Okay, the poll is live. You can vote on what you think of Pedro's fashion take. It is completely lost. We don't have to say anything else but that. He is completely lost. Complete self-loathing out for an early lead as we have just one vote. Complete self-loathing. Guys, jump in there and get your opinions in. It helps every interaction. We got 2 for complete self-loathing. By ex-offender, I mean sex offender. Okay, that's what we mean by ex-offender. If you like the band Blondie, you'll know what that means. And they lost their drummer. Howdy, Buddy Hepburn. It's good to see you. I didn't want anybody to know these top secret decloakings have to happen in the blind spot of the bird of prey that fires at us, the time slip beam, with help of the mad time Romulan scientist that he picked up in New Zealand. Our transformer robot aggressor is otherwise occupied and can't use his withering beam on us for a little while, and it's great to have you all along for the ride. You can drop the R from how you spell Pedro, but don't do it in chat. You know what you do? Put the R in parentheses. It's like paid R, open R, closed, open parentheses R, closed parentheses O. Like Pedro. Like, what is with this man's fashion? It is so bad. He is so completely and utterly lost. Now here he is, season 4 premiere of Game of Thrones. Okay, he went traditional pinstripe. Yeah, he will. This is before he meets the person who hates him, isn't it? This is normal.
Yeah, he was normal at one point. Now he's off a cliff. That's why I think it's an outside force.
This is off topic, but did we see your... Yes, I saw your Star Trek video, and if you want to confer about it, we could talk about it after, or maybe I'll throw your Streamlabs link after, and you can jump on here and talk to me in Germ, rather than just go back and forth with video, but I did have some creative assessments of it, and I did watch it. I thought that you were great. You pulled off a really good read, which is the most important thing. Other than that, I don't want to get into the fine points because I'll just be giving people a path to criticize you with rather than being, myself about it. But we'll talk about it like one-on-one where criticism deserves to be. It's not the kind of professional criticism that I have for. I don't hate Paulie the Latino slant, but I find that he really needs to start he needs to start backing up the hot takes. He likes to fight on The Last of Us and thinks that it's not at all hard to believe. If it's not at all hard to believe, you have to explain it. And yeah, that's a tattoo on his hand. It's visible again 5 years after the first picture. And we have the hellos going. And we got people using the Bop 5 emoji. We see it here. and we appreciate it. If Mama Pray comes through, we salute you. It's great. We know that you support us. We support you. You're the best. You and Mom's are the greatest of sci-fi YouTubers. He's a great Star Trek mind. We can never hope to equal it. We're just about 2 years since we did that episode of Star Trek with Bird, and we're getting to that episode on our watch-alongs, and we have to figure out how we're going to address that one when it comes time for Catwalk.
Yeah.
But I did Precious Cargo with Germ. Toho is investing a total of $500 million and creates a giant multimedia franchise historic, based on Godzilla and their animated games, movies, comics, the works. What does Hollywood do with that? One movie. Well, there's a few Godzilla movies. If you talk about those Hollow Earth movies, the Hollow Earth movies, they have their heart. Yes, remember, they have their heart in the right place. The Hollow Earth movies. They want to be like big, fun kaiju action movies. They suffer from modernism Hollywooditis, where we don't get enough of the monster because the monster has to be so overwhelming when we see it that they put so much money into it. Godzilla -1. What was there? Was there an animatronic Godzilla as well as CGI smoothing, plus a pure CGI Godzilla, plus an animatronic Godzilla head and a CGI Godzilla head? Is that what we do with that one?
There was always some type of physical base for the CGI to be painted over. That's why they got a lot of the scaling right.
So what we did was we built a city to destroy like we did in the old kaiju movies, but when we destroyed it, we then CGI helped it a lot.
Yeah, it's like
we erased bad stuff. Right. So you erased the bad stuff and we enhanced what we liked.
Yeah.
If you're telling me they Andy Serkised it through a small city and destroyed it, I gotta say I love that. How about you?
Yeah, it's a great way to go about it. Not just the pure CGI schlock we got from the Kong vs. Godzilla.
That was CGI schlock, and the movie was only okay. Only okay. Godzilla -1 was a really good movie.
Yeah. The biggest problem they had with the legendary pictures is literally shot to shot, the scale is always different.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not so great when they go from one place to another, when they jump up on that aircraft carrier and their scaling to each other has changed.
Yeah.
They wanted that shot so bad they didn't consider it long enough. It was really poorly considered. But speaking of poorly considered, did you see the Last of Us fight scene?
I haven't seen anything to do with The Last of Us.
All right, so in this season of Pedro Pascal's The Last of Us, there's a fight scene where like a super small girl takes down like a full-size grown-ass man again. By the way, that is their best movie. Yes, Buddy Hepburn is head mod around here because he swings a mighty wrench and because he has a lot of the same takes. This is totally true. Kong Skull Island is their best movie. It had the correct amount of schlock in it. That movie had more fun than anything else, and they're able to make the most of what seemed to be double the amount of monster time per frame rate as the other movies. But they had a few different monsters.
Yeah.
Which helped.
It definitely helped, and the fact that Kong was playing off of Samuel L. Jackson for a good half of that movie.
How much money did American taxpayers save when Samuel L. Jackson dies? Oh, wow. This is a terrible look. But I mean, more like his hair and fat. This is the last time we've seen him clean shaven. How long ago is this? Second stage theater productions of Some Men. Pedro went for a clashing ensemble that screams, "Please stop asking me to park your car." Yeah.
It looks like he's in high school.
That might be the same leather jacket. It's not a bad leather jacket, but there it fits him. No, it's not. This is a good leather jacket, and it's new, so I don't know why it doesn't fit him. But the old leather jacket, still a good leather jacket. He's got good leather jackets, but that's it. Although this is very much screaming 2005 to 2010 with that cafe racer look. Yeah, he's got really weird facial features. He needed to grow that facial hair to distract from. His success gets bigger the more into like ugly people being like popular we go. Like he's lost the weight here, but look how terrible he's dressed. And finally, at the London premiere for season 3 of The Mandalorian at Piccadilly Circus, he proved he could pull off anything with this knitted cardigan and cherry red slacks. I think it just more proves that he would wear anything. So these are the slacks that go with the jacket, huh?
Yeah, someone just laid that out for him and he didn't question it. I'm completely convinced he is not making any decisions about what he wears.
I see 2 distinct outfits here because that sweater matches the pants that he likes to wear, those brick pants. But man, look at these. He's got Joker pants on. He's wearing fucking clown pants. Patent black leather shoes, an earth tone shirt, an immodest too low t-shirt that, like, it's a tank top, but I mean, this one screams playing the saxophone on the freaking fire escape in August. I want to kick his ass. Infuriating fashion.
If I didn't know better, I'd say he was married. His wife
he would
just
never
has
be
horrible
married
taste.
to a woman. The idea that he would be married to a woman is pretty hard to accept. This look pretty much says it all. Same-sex pimp?
Something like that, yeah.
Vern Fried might be onto something here. It's a Americazilla movie. In my book, after that camp just explodes into our faces like someone blew up a giant turd with a firecracker, they knew they wanted to blow some stuff up, and they strung it together with not the best plot ever. Yeah, here we go. The Bear Island with the odd facial features. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Bear Island Girl is. Is that one of his movies, or is that a show that I'm unaware of? Germ, help me.
I am not certain about that.
Oh, The Last of Us. Okay, yeah, no, she is. That girl she is strangely featured. I buy her as his daughter because they're both really weird looking. But we have a really small, undersized woman beats down and beats up a big man. Now, it's clear that he's trying to train her, but he spares her a few too many times, and then she takes him down unmercifully, and then he taps out a couple of times before she lets up on him. After she gets him into the submission hold, it's believable. The way she got him there by absorbing a lot of damage from him is not believable. So, in that one, I called this out yesterday. Copa Ex Machina is someone I see on X, and they put the fight on X. So I can show you, Germ. I can show you this fight. Would you like to see the fight in question?
Why not?
All right, Germ. I know you try to protect yourself from harmful stimulus, but this is the fight in question. I better turn off that sound. So here it is. She goes in there. She takes him low.
That's not a woman. That's a child.
Yeah. So you can see she goes in low, bad move, no impact, right? It has no impact. Now she's out of picture. When she comes back, she's gaining some purchase in this wrestling match, but he throws her to the floor. This is what should happen. So far, it's believable. So he makes his move on her, and he gets damaged. You want to... So far, I believe this.
Yeah, if she's going for the knees, the crotch, that's
she should have gone for the crotch or the knees, but she went for like a gut shot, didn't she?
Yeah.
She went for the area where she would least be able to hurt him. I would say that hey, Mark Harkness, hello. I would say honestly with this one, we're within the territory of Hollywood's acceptable fight scenes so far. Although it's chop, chop, chop. Look how many cuts there have been in just 12 seconds of this, maybe 6. So we're going about 2 seconds a cut. All right, so this is damaging the hell out of the top half of her, and her head's getting dragged across the floor. We've been through this. We're guys. This is not pleasant. Your bell is going to be a little rung from this. Am I right?
Yeah, at the very least.
Drug across the floor. Okay. Now, she's drugged across the floor a lot more. Moves in for the submission on her throat. Now, she, if he's really going for it, is losing some oxygen. Fighting dirty as hell. Wait, let's see. Want to convince me that the female protagonist can beat a man twice her size without evidence of Black Widow training? Then tell me it's being told on pain not to seriously hurt her, right? And show her fighting dirty as hell. Here's another one. How about you throw some dirt in his eyes?
Yeah.
How about you throw some goddamn dirt in his eyes?
These people ever get a steel bar, something?
I ask you, does it come off like the people who made this were ever in a fucking fight in their lives?
Can almost guarantee not.
Yeah. So here he is. He's really choking around, and then he goes for the final strike, but he holds off for a moment, and then she gets the submission hold on to him. I think she would be really finished by now and have very little left in the tank. And that if he wanted to throw her... And by the way, so she's completed the submission hold. What does he have to do except get slightly up and then drop down on her with all his weight onto her head?
Yeah.
How many options does he have?
He has at least 4 or 5, and he doesn't have to do too much.
Throw your knees forward in front of your change purse so that she can't get you there because, well, she's not going for it, but do that anyway, right? Then with your knees under her, with your knees in the small of her back, roll forward onto her or lift her and slam down onto her head with all of your force if you're this guy. And you're going to be winning pretty quickly. So here we go.
A woman should never go for a submission move on a man. They should actually never attack the upper body of a man. Go for the crotch, go for the knees, go for something that's going to slow him down so you can escape.
You might want to make them scared for their eyes. But yeah. So at this point, really fast, by the way, this is like 12 seconds later from the time we noted how many cuts there were. The cuts at least are logical and in sequence, but like she got into this position where she was making him submit magically. There was a magical jump cut there where she somehow got her leg inside his fist when it was outside his, you know what I mean? He's coming in for the punch and her leg magically moves through his arm, and now he's got this problem. He could still box the sides of her head with his hands over and over and over, and she would be out cold. So he goes with the only useless move here. He does not fall forward on her with all his weight there, which is something he could do.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of this fight so far?
He's doing literally the only thing that would increase pressure on the chokehold.
He's helping her out.
Yeah.
He's helping her out. He's leaning into the chokehold and not damaging her when he can. So he's holding off on every punch. He's getting kind of choked out.
This is as bad as the fights they had in Rise of Skywalker. One of them knows what they're doing. The other one is literally just doing moves that a director or a stunt coordinator is shouting to her off screen.
I mean, look at the progression. Let's take this back a little. He's got this under control at 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. He's kicking her ass. 20 seconds, all of a sudden, in this 5 seconds, everything changes. He's got her. His hands are on her neck. And then she's kicking it at him, and she's trying to make her move. We can see clearly he's still got the upper hand in every way. Then as he moves to punch her, that's how she gets her leg in. That at least made sense, but he chose not to punch for how long? We're only 20 seconds into this. He held off for like a second and a half of that. Like, so 5% of this fight was him hesitating?
Yeah. It's like the actress is a step behind.
Right. Now, we talked about this. It's logical. It flows. But he doesn't make any choice that would help himself. Only choices that would help her. At this point, he could fall on her with all his weight. She falls back. He could have enhanced this and hurt her more. But no, she's now starting to kick his ass. And at 20 seconds, he was in full control. Now, 10 seconds later, he's starting to get a little woozy, and he's only been in a chokehold for half this time. So within 5 seconds, he's like, this is a tough guy, Germ. What does he eat?
Yeah,
Butter?
It's just poor choreography.
And this guy has it's such poor cardiac health to be able to fall down from this in 5 seconds. We have a timer. We're looking at this. It's right on screen. We went from 15 to 31. At 15, he's kicking her ass. At 20, she's starting to win. At 31, it's all her.
I'd wonder how long it took them to film this, because if
Weeks.
this wasn't Rush, they should have taken at least another day or two for them to work it out.
It should have been weeks. It should have been a week. They needed to do this for like a couple of days. This was done in a day or less.
Yeah. That's something they should have been practicing together for at least a couple hours a day for at least 3 days.
It looks like what you really need to do is swap in stuntmen a lot more, and you needed to have like a stealthier approach to her winning this fight. This child is kicking this man's ass. By the way, at what point does this become, and now his arm is wrapped around her leg. He can't pull it off enough to get the blood to his head, though. And he's opting not to hit her or choke her out. He's keeping his hand conspicuously away from her throat, which is an open target, doing everything he can not to hit her.
Yeah, I can't.
He refuses to damage her for 37 straight seconds. By the way, in this fight, the only person who's hurt her is herself when she charged in there. She got that when she charged in there at him.
Yeah.
She ran into his fist. All right, so boom, she flips his ass down. Now he's a big guy. He looks to be at least 180 to 210 pounds, depending how tall he is, right? Kind of on the built side, and he's kicking her, and she's now kicking his ass. Hey, Krimlon, what's going on? It's good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me last night. That show ended up doing really good. DJ Ronnie G is here. It's good to see DJ Ronnie G, my friend. Hello, and it's good to see everybody. Look, this fight, we talked about it last night, but it's worth going back into. And Germ is got my back on this one, because we're gonna call out some of the comments in the X comments. So now not only has she just subdued him from 31 seconds where she'd been in control for 10 whole seconds, at 38 seconds she throws him to the floor. 3 seconds later she's starting to beat on him. Right now she's enhancing the damage. She's choking him out mercifully. She's got her hand on there. Yes, the NX-01 is in flight. It's good to see DJ. Thank you, DJ Ronnie J. All right, so I would say this guy's a pretty good actor. He's selling that he's being choked out better than she's selling it.
Yeah. Well,
I hate to say it.
Have the size to sell it.
Also, they're in close on his face for his reactions. This guy was hired to react, and he's doing it well. I don't have any problem with either people in this scene as far as their performance or what they were told to do. Both of them give fairly good performances. It's just that what she was asked to do. So see him tapping out?
Yeah.
At 46 seconds, he hasn't been winning for 31 whole seconds. He taps out. He only had half a minute of fighting in him. And she punishes him for a moment there. You can see her punishing him and doing some hand, like busting up his hand, like pulling the thumb back and causing him pain on pressure point stuff and other stuff. And she's got his arm now behind his back. And her leg behind his head. She is really just totally wrecked this guy. She kicks him in the head. Did you see that?
Yeah,
he taps out.
I'm okay with the wrist lock, but most of that fight should have been more like judo based, so she actually believable in it.
He had to be merciful so that she wouldn't get hurt, right? He's supposedly training her or something like that, because what happens at the end is they tap out. She kicks him in the head here, or is she just, I don't get what that move is. Why she needed to move her legs like that. She flexes her whole body, which causes him to be in more pain. I guess they're faking kicking him in the head, and so he taps out again. So she's not merciful to her sensei. So she's kind of on the evil spectrum here as far as its bad character development. So here's my friend, Shield Wall of Dragons. I know Shield Wall. Shield Wall's friends with Roman of the Empire. Do you know Shield Wall?
I've heard of Shield Wall.
Shield Wall's good people. One choke slam or mud stomp, which she had about 10 opportunities to do, and the fight's over, says Shield Wall of Dragons. Now, if she had a gun or a knife or a spear or a toxic pufferfish dart, then maybe they just don't know how to write a plausible woman fighting man, and it's so damn easy to do. I don't know if it's easy, but they don't know how to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Carter's here. My friend Sean. My good friend Sean. Sean, it's not a bad William Shatner. It's a really good Zap Brannigan. Hell, the Sean Carter out there living life in the big world, out on an away mission, waiting for next Saturday, which is coming upon us tomorrow. Saturday, I'm going to be on Northern English Bastard. That should be fun. I had to watch an entire season of Miami Vice between now and then, but I think I already know 2 of my best 5 episodes of season 2. So Copa Turbo Roundhouse, the original poster of this, said the original statement is, how much suspension of disbelief is required to watch The Last of Us? And so Shield Wall points out holes in the game. Copa Turbo Roundhouse agrees. They're in agreement. Look who jumps into the conversation. With a real hot take. Look who jumps in, Germ. It's Paulie, the Latino slant. None at all is his response to how disbelievable this is. We just watched this. How much? Now I have to pause this, right? Because if it keeps moving, it'll be too much of the thing. So, how much suspension of disbelief is required to watch The Last of Us? Paulie unflinchingly says, none at all. Actually, none at all. Actually,
That's interesting take, to say the least.
Unflinching and unexplained.
I have been in my fair share of fights, and even shown smaller women how to fight against larger men, and none of that is what I would tell any of them to do.
I would say that this is a dangerous piece of advice for a woman that size. Go in there and kick that guy's ass? No, run away and call the police. Honestly, if you're a woman in this conflict, run away and call the police. The thing is, I'm not calling out Paulie as wrong, so to speak, because I understand he's like a martial artist and he teaches martial arts. I might be misinformed here, but I think Paulie has some martial arts skills. So he might be right, but here's the thing. He gives us a 4-word answer to this. You just watch the video. It's dumbfounding video. So it's accurate, says Copa Turbo Roundhouse, the original poster. It's accurate for 100-pound L to jiu-jitsu a 230-pound opponent without being ragdolled until she has tomato soup dispensers for ears. And Paulie answers with just an emoji.
Yeah, the realistic version of that is if she doesn't have a knife, a taser, a gun.
And then he's informed by
some type of judo.
Then Sign says she's supposed to be a black belt in the show with a question mark, and Paulie either doesn't get it or doesn't want to reply to that one because he's getting called out, and it ends with someone posting this GIF.
She's a black belt in what? She a black belt in karate, a black belt in judo.
I guess jiu-jitsu, since that was the one brought up. The thing is, she only does like a traditional wrestling submission move there. And by the way, clam slamming her was an option too. We don't talk about that, but and we're back. If you have a take that's that hot, you're a critic here. Don't you think that honestly, he's initiated a conversation? I'm not so much scoffing at what Paulie has to say. I'm scoffing at please explain it to us, right? He has an opportunity here for dialogue. He's jumped into a fairly popular conversation. He has chosen to respond to this X post, right? About how it's not believable to the poster. The person who posted this found this girl beating up this guy unbelievable. I mean,
I don't know why you wouldn't want to
just expand on it then, if you're right.
Yeah,
you're a critic. Expand on it. Let's see. Sean says, I don't care how well trained the girl is. That kind of size difference would never result in her winning. She's like 110 pounds. She's so short. Sean, I think she's like 78 to 80 pounds, 85 tops. He would probably make an alley-shaped hole out of her in the drywall. Yes. Oh, man, he would throw her right through one of these walls. The thing is, we can tell from the fact he taps out that he's trying to train her. But like I said to me and Germ watched the whole thing. On face value now, Paulie had as much to go on in this as we do based on his subsequent comments where he doesn't know anything about the show, according to his own comment. Now, if he's being glib or whatever, I apologize to Paulie, but that's the impression that I'm getting. If I make a statement this robust about something that looks that hard to take, isn't it sort of incumbent on me to unpack my reasoning to a degree?
Yeah, because that was a little hard for a training fight and a little light for a real fight. They didn't get the balance right.
So Reverend here is telling us he teaches kickboxing and he learned it to his little sister, and she's not so little anymore. And we keep all the martial arts stuff out as much as possible because she's a woman, damn, and not the UFC champ kind. This girl definitely doesn't seem athletic enough to do UFC. She's not out of shape or anything like that. I mean, all her problems are from the neck up, the face, the moves, the choice of combat, the choice to absorb big man damage before you put in your real attack.
Yeah, she has to keep moving in a situation like that.
She didn't dodge his punches. She overpowered him.
Yeah.
It's not that Paulie, if the submission hold is all you're talking about, explain it, right? It's like, well, once she has him in the submission hold, she would choke him out. I don't know why he doesn't hit her. That's the kind of that, it's like, you know what would have been a better comment than none at all? It's like, you can allow it generously. It's like, if you want to be generous, it's possible, but that is a little far-fetched. Would be like, it's not a measured answer. He's all in on a hard-to-believe answer. That's all I'm saying. So in a professional sense, and this is not an attack. Like, Paulie is cool. This show is entertaining. He's a good guy. But he has put himself forward as a media reviewer, as have I. So, like, I'm open to my takes being questioned. And if you want to question my takes, that's totally above board. I have never argued with people who argue my Star Trek take. I have never told people that I know everything about anything. I have always tried to bring proof like this. That's why I have a very visual Star Trek show. And that's why I have a very visual afternoon show where we show a lot of stuff like this, an evening show. And I just think that this fight showed her making bad choices. What I would say, I would categorize it as she chose to absorb some big man damage. Then she was evil to her sensei and showed no mercy. So she wasn't a very honorable victor either. After she rather easily overcame him, and in that 45 to 55 seconds, she was in the driver's seat for 4/5 of it, correct?
Yeah, about that.
And she even...
It just doesn't make sense.
It's our pal Miskatonic Madman.
Any type of submission hold, because the key to any type of submission hold is leverage and body weight. She can't generate either of those. You
know what would have worked better? If she would have jumped up, grabbed something, swung up on it, like, a little bit of like gymnastics, like believable from a girl that size, where she got up and got her legs up over, like she got to the position where she was face down, legs straight up. You know what I mean? Like, just like ready to pile drive down. If she got up like that and dropped onto his back so that he couldn't hit her, and then started choking him out from behind and fell onto her feet where neither of them could damage each other, and it was just about him fending off the choke out, that would be a little more defensible if she dodged him first, but she took that big man damage, right?
Yeah.
And it was substantive.
Use her environment to her advantage.
That would have been great.
And he said, knock down something to pin him down where she doesn't have
dirt
to
in his
keep the weight
eyes.
on him. Yeah.
Make her look desperate. She easily took control of that fight after 5 seconds and then kicked his ass for 4/5 of the fight. Now, I'm not saying that Paulie is incorrect. I'm saying, Paulie, you got to give us more than none at all, actually, and a GIF. That was how he chose to address this, rather hot. Now, when I jump into X conversations, and God knows I do it enough, I am more fulsome with my explanations. We get 4 words and an emoji on this one from Paulie. Right? And then somebody put a pretty uncharitable gif about what they thought. So that's the face value of this is so low. And so this was a bad, destructive fight to watch. And I think that you could look at this and have a pretty good idea that maybe this is not the hill that you want to fight on or get deleted on. And speaking of deleted, I want to put this out of my mind as a fight. Like, I don't know why, as a critic, you would choose to address this fight unless you wanted to have a conversation. But then what we saw was a conversation didn't really ensue. And while you guys can't see, I'm just opening up the conversation more to make sure I didn't miss any comments. And there really are no other comments. It's just compressed. And, we've got all of Paulie's comments are there. He got a thumbs down on the 100%. So for the original poster, scoffed at it, and then somebody scoffed at him with a hot take gif. And, he doesn't take the opportunity of the conversation he initiated where he says, this is why she would have won. This is why I don't find it unbelievable. And he had a chance to make his case as a critic there, and it just, Paulie was like a bridge too far, the wrong hill. You divided your forces, and I think that was the time when they called you out to say why you didn't think it was hard to believe, and spell it out. Because if you gave me some reasons why you thought this was okay, and if you said, because he admits in a different comment on this thread that he didn't know if she had training or not, so he's going into this as cold as we are for my best guess. So I don't know where he's coming from on this one. Paulie, it's a hot take. Nothing personal. This one's red hot. Germ, would you agree? The hottest of takes? Yeah,
that's pretty accurate.
And would you say if you're on this one, if you're a critic on this one, this is if you jump into that conversation where the person bought the receipt and showed you that it was poppycock, pure pop, it was pure poppycock, Germ, it was poppycock. When someone shows you a fight that bad, that's starkly terrible, and you end up, saying that you're defending it, my thought is that you're starting a conversation and that you need to go take it a little further than just a few words of scoffing. What do you think, Germ?
Yeah, I thought that was the point of X.
Yeah,
especially if you're monetized like Paulie is on X, you want to generate as much conversation as possible.
You would want people coming to your site to discuss it. This is reminiscent of when I questioned his Snow White take, and rather than engage with me, he scolded me. Now it's his live stream, and if he feels it was rude to question his take, I apologize. But to scoff when somebody questioned your Rachel Ziegler all in take, and now all in on this, like, Paulie, don't you have checkmarked X? You started a conversation here, but then you just basically this comes down to you threw down and then backed off, right? Yeah, lack of proof is not proof. I'm with Baronfried on this one. Maybe some people said never underestimate retard strength. So what best describes Pedro's fashion take? We got 10 votes. That poll's going to stay alive a little while longer. Ex-offender, 10%. Complete self-loathing seems to be winning bigly with 50%. Hetero-flexible, 20%. Sabotaged, 20%. Now, did you vote, Germ? Did you vote for sabotaged?
Yes, I did.
You did. You think someone's giving him bad advice? I think he's dumb enough to do this on his own, but we'll find out. He couldn't look worse. And as far as this choice of conversation, while I have no problem with Paulie, I do question his choice of jumping into this conversation if his decision was that he wasn't going to explain his take at all. Because it's a hot take in the face of what the person posted. We watched the video. Yeah. Now he might have the expertise to say it, but he doesn't provide a pedigree or any, you know what I mean? It's like, When I say that I don't think that Rachel Ziegler should speak for light-skinned Latinos, you've seen my skin. You know I'm Latino. You guys all know this. Like, I'm not asking you to take my word for it. You know, here I am. I'm in the Emilio Estevez world of Latinos, right? Like Pedro and I are similarly complected, to borrow a phrase. Pedro and I are like of the Castilian variety, as it's sometimes known. But you know, I'm far fairer skinned than him. But like, I'm no darker than my grandfather, who was born in Cuba. Cuba, Germ, Cuba. Did I mention he was born in Cuba?
Maybe once.
There might be a few banana boats in my fleet. Now, here's the thing. You've seen me jump into a lot of X conversations. I know you've had to look away in horror here and there, but have I ever lacked reasons for any take or lacked a desire to back him up?
Oh, no. It's lack of takes and backing it up is not your problem.
I have problems, but those aren't them. And if people want to professionally criticize me, that's fine too. That is. Like, I'm not, you know, this nothing personal. Paulie seems to be a very nice guy. He also seems to be very, very much confident of his take. And I'm just questioning that take. I question how this is not at all hard to believe. And I would like more proof than just an emoji. And as a critic, maybe provide some input. Like, trust me. Yeah. The days of the trust me critic are over.
Yeah, I know Paulie's credentials when it comes to the writing and acting part of it. Very, very solid. Choreography, I don't know. So I don't know why he would have that particular take on it.
The fight logic was correct that the only way she would win against a man that big was to choke him out. But the fight logic of how she approached it by taking a couple of blows of big man damage, which she never would have withstood, and how he chose over and over and over not to finish her.
I wouldn't even say choking him out was the right option, because
he passed on 5 different superior choke options on her.
Yeah. She just doesn't have the body weight to actually choke him out or break his arm or anything that any type of submission move would really. Well,
she had the only even remotely believable submission move would be she dodges him, gets him from behind, and gets the legs on his neck from behind, where he can't damage her or but you know, you run the danger of him dropping on his back and really fucking you up. And maybe she can get away from that damage with some athleticism. She, you know, jumps out of the way and lets him take the weight of his own full fall. And then she opportunistically comes after him. But in this one, and also the cruel Padawan thing there, and I think Reverend is onto it here. I mean, I believe Gina Carano in her women's heavyweight champion era to defeat a guy 2 times her size when he is not trained, and she wears him down properly first. Nose, throat, the change purse, leg sweep. All those things would absolutely be on the table for a woman versus a guy. And I don't know, like, I don't think we want to run an anti-guy, like a guy beatdown martial arts class here. But at the same time, like, if you want to get into a fight with a man, I would not advise that as the way to do it. If you're going to do what she did, just run away.
Yeah.
Just run away. Get help. And also, if someone is like passing on that many finishing moves on you, maybe you shouldn't like exult in their defeat. She's part warrior bunny. Warrior bunnies have 3 times the human strength. Maybe she's maybe a Vulcan child could do that? Maybe I missed it. Is The Last of Us a Star Trek show?
I'm not sure what The Last of Us actually is. I never played the game and I never watched the show.
At this point, I'd say the show is probably huge and the game is not going to get hurt, but this does not make me motivated to want to play that game. And yeah, she's not choking anything but the pillow. Honestly, you're right. It's ridiculous that you would put on this fight and expect it to be something where she could come out on top. That is, to me, a little hard to take. Oh, hey, and I'm looking over on Pac-Led Central, and it looks like we're doing just a little better than them if you subtract the panel. You tracking the Pac-Led Freighter, Germ?
No, I haven't seen them lately.
I am just tracking them on my other scope here, and, you know, it's just There's a lot. They got twice as many people as us on the panel, but just about as many people as us. So you guys are the greatest audience. You guys are the most appreciated audience. And also, there still continues to be no proof that we're anything but safe in this spot. And I think that now that we've seen the pattern going on with the nonstop, endless attacks every other time, but isn't it strange how placid it is when we show up while the person who's prime suspect is on the air? Isn't it funny how placid the show goes?
Yeah, it is a lot cleaner here. The bots showing up.
It is a little, and we don't end up getting frustrated with the AI attacks with 60 people in a row telling me that I should pay my pundits. I pay my pundits the same as Doomcock pays his. Take it up with, send it up the chain. Send it up the chain. There's pay parity. Sean makes as much here as it does anywhere else, guys. You know what? We do this out of love of Star Trek and love of pop culture. And we did 1923 out of love of a better story. She might have a better face for a Vulcan or a Romulan. I mean, a Romulan child could do this to a person, maybe. But like this human child doing this to this human man, I mean, is she not under 18?
Hell, she's under 13.
Is that how it's supposed to be? I mean, because like I said, we don't watch the fucking show.
Just looking at her, she looks to be at most 12 years old.
Were I casting 12 to 15-year-olds, I would cast her closer to 12 than 15. If I was a casting agent. Were it my job to hire people and you gave me this headshot for a 15-year-old, I would probably go for it. But I would say she's closer to she looks more like a 7th or 8th grader than she does like a 10th grader, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And she beats that guy up. She doesn't have any real setbacks. He damages her in a way that would take me and Germ out. We agreed that the drag across the floor would take both of us out. All her full weight onto her back, onto her head, dragged across the floor, and wow, hey! Teag actually pays me double what I get on PCB. I didn't want to tell people. Yeah, I put double nothing, right?
Well, yeah, you can multiply that however many times you want.
Did you check out the member video for this week that dropped yesterday?
It's in the list.
You get mentioned. You get called out twice. Mofo. You get called out twice for distinctive service to the channel. I thank you for the 1923 stuff. Yes, and thank you, Sean Carter. Yeah, 2 times 0 is actually 0. All of us do this out of love for the material, love of the conversation. I don't know about you, but I come here because I love to have conversations as much as anything else. I love, I'm not calling Paulie out for anything except the fact that, back up your take. You initiated a conversation. I'm not chastising that in the least. What happened?
I just looked up that actress's stats. She is actually 21 years old.
I knew she would be at least...
She's 5 foot.
So she's 21, 5 foot, not totally tiny on the woman scale, but it's petite. It is petite. She's taller than AOC, but that's petite. 5 foot tall is petite. That's extremely tough. Petite. I'm 5'11". My ex-wife was only 5'1", and it looks weird. And hey, Jason Love has been a member of this channel for 2 months. Bella Ramsey is 21. Great show. Thank you. And you're showing your defiance with General Patton. Thank you so much, Jason Love. I'll let the Patton emoji show and show it up on the big board on our screen here. I thank Jason Love for being a member for the last couple of months, guys. I worked really hard on all that stuff for 1923. And Germ, I guess you'll validate this one now, right? If I really just wanted views and really just wanted to pile on the subs, the thing to do is to throw out any 1923 finale video last week, right? Anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't wrap my head around it to do a fair enough script. I keep having problems and breakdowns in script creation because I don't know how to attack it. My thought with and I can't thank you enough, my friend Jason Love, for being a member, and I can't thank Sean Carter enough either. But you know what, Germ? I can't wrap a take around certain things, and for me, I'm stuck on the end of 1923 because it's sort of a pivotal moment in how I look at streaming in general. Is it just possible that no one wants a 16-hour one-shot deal story?
It's a possibility.
How much time does season 2 cover? 4 weeks?
Something like that. Because they do jump from the beginning of spring to March, the beginning of April, I assume. So it's maybe at most 5-6 weeks.
And they fast forward her from the. Well, we fast forward with Alex from when Spencer gets kicked off the boat, and they say it's Marseille, so southern France, to England, to time having passed. So I'm going to call it 5 weeks because she becomes cognizant that she's pregnant, and her and Spencer seem to only be on the road together doing their thing in season 1 for, I don't know, season 1 might also span 4 weeks, right? 4 weeks, then 4 weeks that we don't see, then 4 more weeks?
The entire series, both seasons
spans 20 weeks.
Yeah, it's
about Thanksgiving. From about Thanksgiving to about April Fool's Day. Is that what it is? Or about Halloween? About Halloween to let's call it what it is. Sometime after Labor Day, but before Halloween, till they say like the last day. They're burying everyone. And it seems to be April 1st again because they all die on March 28th and 29th.
Yeah.
1923.
At most, it's from September to April. So it's a 6 to 8 month span for both seasons combined.
It didn't feel like it didn't feel like 2 hours a month. And at the end, I don't know whether it's because no one cared. I don't know whether it's because they botched it. But in 1923, John Dillinger killed, like, personally half as many people as Tiona. At the end of the day, there are 3 marshals chasing her. One is good, one is Native American, and one is female. The good, the guardian, and the female. It's the name of our Western, Germ. In our Western, the good, the guardian, and the female. The good is the deputy. The white deputy who says, tell me if I got this more or less correct, it don't matter what we think, there's a warrant and 5 dead people, and we need to bring her in front of a judge so that it can be due process. That is almost an exact quote of the marshal, right? Of the deputy marshal speaking to the head marshal. Doesn't matter what we think, we're hot in her heels. She's a lawbreaker, we're law people. Let's go law it up. And so the good, the bad, and the guardian and the bad being the woman in this case. The woman is wrong in this case. The good, the bad, and the guardian. The good, the bad, and the guardian come across the bad guardian. The bad guardian has snuffed a bunch of people and snuffed Father Renault, and we don't really have a problem with what she's done because she's been avenging herself. But the thing is, the good, the bad, and the guardian mix it up with her. She kills the good. She shoots him down. And then the bad and the guardian just forget about it. They take her to court. They don't say, we personally saw her kill a U.S. Marshal. John Dillinger, from the moment he killed like some county cop on, was like the most wanted man in America. Early radio would have had this. If you and I lived in Seattle and New York and we had a telephone call in 1923, all these things possible, isn't it more than likely, if not almost definite, that both you and I would have heard of Tiona Rainwater on the radio? 11 dead.
At least in a newspaper.
11 bodies? 5 of them are clergy. 3 of them are lawmen. Marshall Kent, Marshall Ross.
Yeah, it would definitely.
Marshall Fawcett's deputy.
Yeah, 5 clergy and 3 officers of the law would have been news.
Look, what they would have probably done was shoot her there because she kills one of them, and rather than just take her out, they're like, hold on, don't do anything, drop it, you're going to die. And she's like, gee, okay.
Yeah, that was the biggest mistake in that storyline.
Germ, if I ride with you in the sense of the Old West, like you ever see a great movie called Silverado?
Once or twice.
I really like that movie. I like cowboy movies and westerns, though, right? So in Silverado, Brian Dennehy is kind of the heel of that movie, and he reprises the same kind of dick he plays as the sheriff in Rambo. And Brian Dennehy is great at this, as he proved in his greatest role, the sheriff in Rambo. And Brian Dennehy is from downstate New York, and he went to high school not far from where I used to live. And I just know where Brian Dennehy's neighborhood is, and I know why Brian Dennehy has the accent he has, and the fact that a Long Islander can be a good cowboy actor just proves that he was pretty goddamn versatile. But Brian Dennehy, decent cowboy actor.
Yeah.
He blows someone away on a whim and then drinks his coffee like it's nothing. And like one guy, Scott Glenn turns to Kevin Kline and goes, "You used to ride with that guy?" And it's like a big deal. So it's like, if we ride together, right? You, me, and like, you know, the rest of our crew from Star Trek, like JT and Sean and like Krimwan and Radioactive, if we're all riding together and someone takes you out, like we're like shooting first, right? Like if someone takes me out, do you like tell them to drop it, or do you just like empty your weapon, right?
Well, in a situation like that, you're pretty much obliged to hang them.
Or gun them down while they're there with a weapon on you. Their weapon's pointed at you and primed and ready to go.
Well, yeah, in that case.
The glint of steel and
else out.
You've already red rummed one lawman. Why are you going to start using pop psychology? Because the ending sucked, and you think it's because they couldn't get back the actor, or because they made a mistake and forgot to integrate the guy into the courthouse scene, when you could have just blown it off with some dialogue where she, in the hallway, Marshall Fawcett could have said to the Guardian, she could have said, you know, Riker's back, you know, Deputy Riker's back at the office filing the paperwork. Let's go make this go away. And that would have worked a lot better, wouldn't it?
That would have worked, but I think they filmed the courthouse scene before they actually filmed the capture scene. So when it came to that capture scene, they realized, oh, he wasn't in the courthouse, so we have to make him go away.
That was one of the fight scenes that looked the worst, made the least sense, and was from the furthest distance away. They had to have magic and her falling into the high grass to explain some of it, and the physics don't work, and whatever. The 1923 ending, this is the thing in season 2 I noticed, that season 1 didn't have this. It had episode 3 and episode 5 itis. Where episode 3 and episode 5 kind of suck, and could have been combined into one better episode. Episode 4 had too much weight, and they really needed Spencer home at the end of episode 6, beginning of episode 7, rather than the beginning of episode 8, which is where it would have been. And I think what happened was, I don't know if they were fighting or they were debating, but they were unsure in some way of their ending. And there was evidence of some re-editing, and I wonder if that fight wasn't done late and scared. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff they actually went with was done late. I think they might be having... Yeah. I think they might have been having some argument about what the actual sequel show is going to be. Because, but from all rumors, it's going to be 1944.
And the Madison.
The Madison would be more attached to Yellowstone proper.
Right. 1944 has... I don't want to see Spencer in 1944.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to come back in Spencer's lifetime.
I don't want to see Spencer in 1944. I don't want to see Brandon Sklenar playing 50 either. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to see Spencer again in his life as a Dutton.
Yeah.
If I see him again, he has to be much, much, much older. If we did a show called 1968 and he was in episodes 1 and 2 and then passed on, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it has to be recast. And live by the phaser, unalive by the phaser, says Miskatonic Madman. I love that one. Spencer's character arc was complete. The thing is, I found this out, and Brandon Sklenar said it. It was double documented now, so it's true enough. Ready? There was a longer confrontation with Whitfield where Spencer got emotional before he did him in.
That would have been better.
They made the wrong choice by having him have his emotional moment. They said that he had just had an emotional moment with Alex, so he shouldn't have another one with Timothy Dalton. To which I say, it sounds like you also brought back Timothy Dalton late and rushed.
Yeah, they either did something poor with scheduling him, or he wasn't overly available.
Or they ended up unhappy with their own story to the point where they were rethinking it deeply, very deeply. Hey, Stark of Iron, what's going on? Hello, good to see you. Tony was on last night at the same time we were. It was hard to get any purchase, but we managed to do it. We had a great show, and what happened, which was great, is I got to thank all the people who come through later for the knock-on effect. This is one of the most rewatched channels in YouTube and has a really long hang time on the rewatch. So, Kyle Cullen and everyone else who comes through cloaked later, I salute everyone, and everyone who's just lurking right now, I thank you. And all the supporters of my channel really made a big difference this month. I thank all of you. It was really just a big deal to be on last night and provide the just recurringness of the Thursday. And I guess Tuesdays will be like earlier. Like I'll stick at the 7:30 Eastern time for Tuesdays. Seems logical. And then when I do Thursdays, they'll just be later. That seems to be the best way to handle this one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, this way, what we do is on Thursdays, we do better going on late because the entire coast, the entire country, the entire United States is online. We do like 80% of our views in the United States. We're an unapologetically American channel. To the 20% of the rest of you who aren't American, that's cool. We love you too. We're not supremacists about America, but we are, like, you came here because we have an unapologetic viewpoint. Part of that comes from, we're American YouTubers.
Yeah, and if certain political things go the right way, you don't have to worry about not being American long.
Can't get to America, we'll bring America to you! But you know what? That's the point here is we do love you all, but we have our opinions. And I wonder how our poll is going. You know what? Certain other possibilities. Ex-offender creeping up. He is an ex-offender. I mean, you know what? And hetero flexible should be doing more trade. Just have to say, this used to be a peaceful town. Is that the Silverado line? I think that's the sheriff's. That's in a few westerns too, though. This used to be a peaceful town. It's in High Noon as well.
That's the one I remember.
High Noon's pretty good. I was surprised that Colonel Potter was in it.
Oh, he was in a lot of those.
Yeah, like you don't realize that Colonel Potter was a decent dramatic actor.
Oh yeah, before MASH, he did all sorts of great stuff. A lot of it Western.
So we did this yesterday. I'm going to do it really quick again. What we did was I relitigated some of yesterday, but with you. So Crimon had to see this. Why should you get off easy? Here it is. So this turkey here is like a talk show host. And he's going to give us his little talk show talk off where he says like, we all know the tale of the 4 brave astronauts who went into space and came back forever changed. And we see their super dumb retro-futuristic rocket, right? There it is. Like
the
this
rocket
is like,
doesn't look too bad.
The rocket doesn't look too bad.
They stole the rocket design from old Godzilla movies.
It looks very much like something from Thunderbirds. It looks very much like old Godzilla, and it looks very practical. And it looks like one of the rocket boosters is failing right there. The one closest to us seems to be disintegrating. Who knows?
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, you've got to see how bad this is. See if I can get his freaking face in here.
I'm calling it right now. The rocket ship's the highlight of the movie.
I think you're probably right. The rocket ship most likely does seem to be the highlight of the movie. Look at this thing. It's the thing, but I mean, look at this thing.
If that cap isn't a septuple extra large, this doesn't make sense.
No, his head's really way too small. Look at all this like retro-futurism to the point of just being dumb and annoying. This turkey who directed this was the last director on the Star Trek movie. The last attempt at the JJ Star Trek movie. And there's your retro future Jetsons like Seattle-ified New York City.
Yeah, it looks cheesy.
It sucks. It doesn't look as good in the second viewing. And I detect the set from Loki here. What do you think?
I didn't actually watch
This is
Loki.
correct. Loki was terrible. But yes, you are correct, Buddy Hepburn. He was on Dragnet forever. So this retrofuturism is Matt Shackman, the director's little trick. He does it. And we have this droid sucks so much, it reminds me of something from Rise of Skywalker. Then look at the thing. He looks like goddamn chicken nuggies. This Metro Flexible is Johnny Storm. This is Johnny Storm.
That doesn't look human.
You know what it is? He has dark hair features and they dyed his hair blonde, so he looks all wrong. He looks all freaking wrong.
Yeah, he gives the same uncanny valley look that Mark Zuckerberg has.
They have over and over and over like beat down his hair with the bleach and it's still kind of orangey. So he had really dark natural hair is my impression. It just looks like they did like a feature swap on him with the hair, which is like, a key trait. It's like, it does not look right. Now look how small the Thing's head is. That's the problem. It's smaller than theirs.
Yeah. That's not even consistent from earlier in the trailer.
Right. So, by the way, here he is, the smartest man in the fucking world. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Smartest crackhead in the world.
Sean Carter just DM'd me. He said, Packwood Freighter. Yeah, it's what you think. It's what you think. I'm just not going to dignify it by addressing that whole controversy. I will say this, at the end of the week, this show will out-succeed any other show on at this time. Easily. It's a better show. But what kind of a host would I be if I didn't think that of my own program? I wouldn't put this on if I didn't think I was bringing you the best show. And I thank everyone here now and everyone who's going to come through later. But let's get through the end of this trailer that, by the way, sort of, I think I proved that it sucks, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, by the way, his whole thing is he's the smartest man in the world. And what he keeps saying is stuff like, I can't, I don't know, I can't do it, I'm afraid, I don't have enough time, it won't work, I can't do it. Look at Johnny's head, and I've seen better heads on lettuce, but look at Johnny's head, and look at the Thing's head, and he just looks like an effect thrown into this. He lacks all tactility. This is terrible.
Yeah, he should be at least 3 sizes bigger than he is.
Why is he the shortest? Yeah.
100 pounds.
This actor should have been put on sheetrocking stilts. It should have been so, like, why wasn't Doug Jones just put in a mocap suit if that's what you're going to do? This is where he says, I can't. And this whole, like, stupid first steps thing, by the way, is about being a family, not about anything that makes sense, right? It's like the mighty power of motherhood.
Yeah, because Reed is excessively arrogant in his own way. He would rarely, if ever, say he can't, I don't know, especially to Sue.
3 times in a row. Now here we have everybody in the family shot, so to speak. And again, like, now his head is inconsistent. Now his head is large. Like, still only about the same size as Pedro's and hers. I don't know what's going on in this picture, but, like, okay, their car matches them. Here's the question. Did they even make a prop car? Was it just a bunch of green pipes? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell when I watch it either. It doesn't feel very real, and the car doesn't pass the LOL test because this car doesn't drive around under the rule of physics in our world or any other. Its wheel wells are too low. This is stupid. Why sabotage your futurism with like blatantly unreal and unbelievable things like this? Why? Why do this to yourself?
It looked like they pulled that out of the Soviet Union.
Or their ass. Like a spoiler up front. I guess we have a bubble top where it rolls back, or it's, I guess why would you have the plexiglass behind? I guess they all jumped out of it, but it looks like they're just walking past it, and this is someone else's fucking car that just got left there. It's even got like what looks like a maker's mark on the front. So I can't tell you. Is this supposed to be a Stark mobile? I don't even know. Mr. House Party 6! Yes, a lot of people delivered for the boobs. Thank you for your generous, dispersion of... Mr. House Party 6 put a lot of memberships for the people in the channel yesterday. It was really nice of them. It was really, really nice. I appreciate it. So look at this here. It's like he had leftover like costume swatches from being the Star Trek 4 pretend producer director. The veracity of this shot is stupid. It's Times Square, by the way, and Galactus is a kaiju.
Well, he can manipulate his size, but I don't know why he would be just stomping through New York.
So, Teary Eyes here, basically, I guess the Baxter Building is going to be the inside of the Empire State Building, because that's what that looks like behind her.
Yeah, that fits. The Baxter Building was always used to offset Empire State.
It looks like they've made it the Empire State, though. Although we did see at least one of the dirigible mooring buildings in the skyline. So I don't know. It looks like that's the other behind her. Who knows if that's a TV or a window? I can't tell. But the shape of this looks like the inside of either the Chrysler Building or the Empire State Building. There's not too many buildings in that style, even in New York. So this was... Here you go. You can do it, Pedro. You're not a loser, she lies to him. Then, of course, because we haven't done it a million times before, we're going to attack Times Square in their movie. In this movie, they go after Times Square. Galactus is going to draw the line for this film, and if he eats the planet, he's going to do it like the comics, where he'll stomp across the surface and place energy conduits evenly throughout the world. I mean...
That was primarily his ship and his herald that did that. Galactus just sat up on his throne and savored the meal to come.
Tonru here, or whatever her name is, does say she's the herald of Galactus. Or whatever her name is. Moulin Bouge. And hey, what's going on, Woody M? It's good to see you. So here comes the Silver Surfer. I'm going to say right now, this does not look as good as the 2007 Silver Surfer. And we're on a first-gen copy of this. This is the Marvel site. As you can see, we didn't goop it up and make it look worse. It's this bad.
Yeah, that looks like they still need to work that thing over in post.
It's really effing bad. So here she comes. It's so much worse than what we saw 18 years ago.
They need to put a mercury, a sheen over it. But I think it's not done.
And this is, the character's supposed to be in her mid-20s, but here she is looking to be just about 40, right? And I'm not saying she looks old, but she has such a frozen, inexpressive, and stoic character. And I'm going to give the actress, the credit of being just she did what the director told her, right? So this is the delivery they wanted. Flat, stoic, boring.
Yeah.
They didn't even get their NYPD cops all that right. I mean, I guess they're supposed to look slightly different. But then the thing again, now he's a different size. Now he's bigger. But look, we have retro futuristic cars.
Cars all look like crap.
What year is it even in their part of the multiverse? Is it 1962? Is it they made it to our time?
It's supposed to be the early 60s.
So Beatles invasion era.
Yeah, about that.
real early. Yeah, people used to dream. Clobby loved Ben J. Grimm too, and I guess if he was with us, he would have to now admit that the Fantastic Four movies from Fox are now a guilty pleasure that we can all admit were fairly watchable, just not very great. They weren't great, but they weren't. This is a travesty level event. And look at him. Ooh.
This is going to be 3 times in 1 year that Disney has lost $100 million.
So, of course, we made mention of this yesterday. We made mention of this yesterday. She's not unattractive at all, but she ain't looking great here, and this is not the right pose. It's the right pose, but it's not the right camera angle to make her look good in this, and she should be arching her back up more. Sue Storm beaten and crying. I didn't want to see Sue Storm in her Sue Storm pose when she gets to beaten and crying. You tell me, Germ.
Yeah, she's about 10 years, maybe 15 years too old for this.
Still not old, but too old for Sue Storm.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a good gap between her and Reed. At least a 20-year gap between her and Reed.
There's still a 15-year gap between her and Pedro. But the thing is, again, she's facing down effing Galactus here, and look how inexpressive. Look how stoic.
Yeah. Especially compared to what we got in the first movies.
Jessica Alba was good.
Yeah.
In what we had. For what it was.
She was the perfect casting for that role at that time.
For what that movie was, yes. So listen, he spends the whole thing saying, I'm a loser, I can't do it, I'm a loser, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I can't think smart enough, I'm a loser, and I'm like, yeah, you're not good enough, no, you're not smart enough, yeah, you're right, you are a loser, and she's like, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, you're not a loser, and he's like, we will help you, we can save you, as a family. And it's like, oh, God. And to everyone in Hollywood, like, Michael Pena has a fucking cell phone, too. Like, there are other Latinos in Hollywood. And then this was the final thing that really, by the time we got to this overly fond rendering of the logo, of all forms of all logos, it's overly nostalgic. Now it's too much. Now I want to throw up. Your opinion?
I don't have a lot of problem with the logo, but everything else seems a little bit, I don't want to say outright bad.
Trying too hard. Constantly trying too hard. Ongoing trying too hard. That person who wants to be your friend a little too much.
Yeah. And the casting, I think, is my biggest problem with it. None of them fit.
I think the directing has the problems. There's a directing problem. She's not giving any emotion, yet this trailer's built around her. She gives us nothing. We are a family. I am a woman. I have a child. You aren't a loser. You're smart enough, Pedro. You're good enough, Pedro. I mean, my God. Right? I mean,
yeah.
She's
playing Sue Storm about 15 years older than it. The character is more geared to the later run Fantastic Four when they actually have a kid.
And she's also not supposed to be the most emotionally mature member of the entire thing all the time. Unless
this is set at least a decade after they get their powers, that it's completely unexcusable.
Well, why would you send superheroes this old? They're a little too old to go into space. Pedro is like, what's he going to do? Go up in space with freaking Katy Perry? For another all-girl mission?
Yeah, they're doing a very terrible job explaining all this.
Every time I see a trailer for this movie, I want to see the movie less. This has now been a repulsor ray. This is a repulsor ray. Now, I've already said that I'm going to take it on the chin and go see Thunderbolts.
I'd rather see Thunderbolts than this. At least
I would much rather
Thunderbolts,
see
they
Thunderbolts
have
than this.
at least one cute girl in Thunderbolts.
Sorry, say that again.
They have at least one cute girl in Thunderbolts. This one, nothing
Fairly
to see.
cute. There's nothing to see here. And we're bigger. And now we're up in the sky, Germ. That was one dumb movie trailer. There's a point where they're looking out over the terrace of the Baxter Building, and we see the sky over Manhattan covered with like a green funk. And I'm like, I saw this done better in Independence Day. You know what I mean? Like, they're copying shots from other movies. There's a point where Johnny Storm takes off in a flaming path after Galactus, and then he gets beaten and he falls down from the sky with his arms flailing. It was exactly the same shot as we had in Captain Marvel. When she falls from the sky and gets her power out of nowhere, the second wind effect, remember, that they use in that movie? Sorry, to bring back bad memories.
Yeah. They may have just reused the shot.
They reused the shot.
Pasted Johnny on it.
Probably not to that extent, but it was like they were too tired to think of something new. It looked like, and here's the thing: this director has made this director's complete resume. Looking backwards, announced but never did anything for Star Trek IV JJ Trek, a movie no one wanted to the point that there was militants about how much disdain there was for it.
To the
There was
point
militant
several
disdain.
actors forced their way out of it.
Forced their way out of it by scoffing at the idea that anyone would ever want to see it and shaming JJ into stopping talking about it because he said, what was it, Chris Pine was like, yeah, sure, this is 8 years of saying we're going to do it every other year. I don't believe it anymore.
Yeah. To the point where a couple of them were reported to be under contract and then got their way out of it.
It wasn't that they got their way out of it. It was that because they couldn't pull off the scheduling, the story, or anything at all, or the funding for these movies, that their contracts timed out. They were under contract for 4 movies or like 12 years. There's not enough time left to make a J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie with that cast.
And they're very, very lucky to have gotten out of it.
They are very, very lucky to have gotten out of it. And hello, everybody. We got 10 of you watching now. If you share this link, you'll be doing me a huge solid, my friends. And you will also be striking a blow for great analysis on Fridays and giving us a reason to keep coming back. We would love some likes. I don't know about Germ, but we got 18 likes. If you could, and thank you, by the way, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for 18 likes. It's far more than I deserve. But if you could get me to 20, which would be even more so generous, I would be, from the bottom of my heart, really grateful. I like the 20 likes, and honestly, I wish that was a goal that I was allowed to post. It sucks that the goals are only financial here on YouTube. There should be some of them that involve you guys. Like, I want, a shower of the little emojis, like these ones. The little hearts and the little hundreds. Like, I want a shower of emojis, or I want I want like 25 likes, or I want like 30 shares. That would be goals that would serve your channel as well. Thank you, Stark of Iron's doing his part. Tony's doing his part. Ask not what you can do for your country. If they switched this read for the one for the Multiverse of Madness, we would have been cheering Wanda. We kind of would start cheering Wanda just it's a moment later when he goes and takes out Sir Patrick Stewart, right? When she just basically I was like, it wasn't the golf clap, it was like, or the slowly building clap. It was the confident, steady clap of total approval. You know the kind of clap I'm talking about, Germ.
Yeah.
On our poll, 14 votes. Ex-offender at 21%. Complete self-loathing, 36%. Hetero-flexible, 21%. Sabotaged, 21%. I don't know what to tell you, Germ. 14 votes. The people are just speaking here. It looks like with this 5-way vote, everyone's up in the air about this one. All I know here is we have passion for the disdain over Pedro Pascal and the bad look. And yes, you got me to 20 likes. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. Germ, what do you think? You got a few minutes overtime here for our friends that got us to 20? Bonus coverage. Extra innings. All right. Out of the bullpen comes our deepest selves. All right. So this is my final thought on this one. I don't think I can sit through this movie. In context, this trailer looks worse than the trailer for Snow White. There was never any hope with Snow White, and there was never any real feeling that it was going to be good with Snow White. And plus, the Snow White people were out there like making us ready for that movie to be bad, so that when we saw the second bad trailer, it was more lulls, and it was, it's definitely bad for Disney, but maybe not bad for a hundreds of year old legend of Snow White. And so every minute of the trailer, I'm more and more outright annoyed. Matt Shackman, the director, his resume is WandaVision, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, what adds up to just about one season worth of episodes over 2, maybe 3 seasons. And remember the show Children's Hospital with Rob Kudry and Henry Winkler? Live action Adult Swim.
Dear God, that's what they're giving movies to now.
He hasn't done enough to justify a movie. His closest thing to a movie was WandaVision. That's all he's done, guys. Children's Hospital, some It's Always Sunny, and WandaVision. He's the last person.
Horrible resume.
That is a really bad resume. That resume is outright questionable right on its face. We need to make this
I wouldn't
larger.
trust that guy with a deodorant commercial.
It looks like he's filmed a couple of car commercials. The trailer did smack of car commercials, to be honest with you. But it turns out that there is, and by the way, he's the last person to be connected with the outright scam of JJ Trek 4. So I question, in my heart, I wouldn't trust him with my money, you know what I mean? Not to make a movie.
Yeah.
And his resume doesn't justify it. I wouldn't invest in this movie with this director. I would say, get me someone with experience. I don't need Martin Scorsese, and I don't even need Tim Burton, but can you get me someone with experience? Who's made a couple of movies. Good ones. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that the Fox movies are kind of watchable and now are only relatively bad considering. What do you think about that statement?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. You can watch them. They're not great, but they're
not as bad as
MCU,
this.
You got a hint of nostalgia to it.
Nothing could be as bad as this. This is bad. They couldn't have done a more unflattering, less nostalgic look at the comic books that we loved. Ooh, let me see if I can't display those emojis. So you can see our poll there. 15 votes. Flogging away in pursuit of democracy. And let me see if I got the Pac-Led freighter on the scope. The Pac-Leds. Germ, the Pac-Leds, they're still out there, Germ. The Pac-Leds, they're still out there. They're still out there, the Pac-Leds.
Yeah.
So,
and it appears they're doing very questionable things, like Pac-Lids are out to do.
They want to be strong, and they want to go.
They're going to a certain place doing what they're doing.
Stovall, would that place be Stovall Core?
Not exactly.
Oh, you played the new commercial? Thank you, Tony. Germ, on this channel, we occasionally have commercials. Or we occasionally make commercials. Have you seen the new commercial?
I have not seen the new commercial.
The new commercial is out there. It's pretty neat. It's nifty, Germ. Hey, everybody. For epic pop culture adventures. What a mistake that was. Here's the commercial. Tell me what you think. Let's give you a little sample. Guys, this is the Admiral Teag commercial that you'll be seeing in the future. It's fairly brief. Hey everybody, it's your buddy Admiral Teag. I salute you all, and I thank everyone who's joined me for epic pop culture adventures, reviews, news, live streams, and video essays. It's my honor to host the ultimate Star Trek watch party every Saturday night, boldly going to the final frontier with co-hosts Sean Carter, JT Kirk, and Resolute Germ. You won't find a better Star Trek experience on YouTube or anywhere else. Plus, don't miss Sci-Fi CSI, where we forensically dissect the zombie that is modern Star Trek. Their stuff may be rough, but our watch parties and reviews, oh, it's a blast. I also dive into the MCU, DC, Star Wars, shows like Landman in 1923 from Taylor Sheridan. And you can catch me live on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings here on the East Coast, or increasingly Fridays. We have weekly uploads that bring one of the most unique and exciting approaches to channel content you'll ever see. Expect watch parties, deep dives, and more. From the wild frontier of 1923 to the final frontier of the 23rd century and beyond, I've got you covered. So join me. You will be well treated. And hit those like and follow buttons for my buddy, Stark of Iron. I'll see you out there. I love CC Sabathia. He was such a badass. So, what do you think, Germ? Not bad, right? As far as commercials go? Thank you.
Better than the schlock they put in for videos for YouTube.
My commercial is better than a lot of people's shows. My commercial is as good or better as many people's shows. But that's, you know what, that's mostly thanks to panelists and friends. And, of course, you guys out there in the chat, of course. Our best asset is that you guys keep us on our toes and engage with us. Oh, really? The Germ, so they're partaking in the dark arts over there, huh? Those crazy Packleds. If they leave the matter-antimatter chamber open, anything could happen.
Yeah, they can blow themselves up doing this.
Hold on a second. Engineering, Mr. Carter, how are the engines? Take us out about 2 more light years away from the Packwood freighter. We'll watch from further away, Helm. Helm. Actually, tactical. I want you to keep an eye on the Packwood freighter's life support and bridge. I don't mess around. Here's one for you, Germ. In great movie Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, we see 2 different commanders execute attacks. Khan pulls a surprise attack on Kirk, and then Kirk pulls a similar surprise attack on Khan. Because both of them basically, sort of play possum and draw the other one in. When Khan fires at Kirk, he's only firing to disable that ship. But when Kirk fires on Khan, he targets what? The bridge and the weapons only? And Kirk's attack is much more effective than Khan's.
Because Khan's ego got in the way.
He had to gloat or it wasn't worth it.
Yeah. He wanted Kirk to know who beat him, and that's what cost him in the end.
He says as much, but I wanted you to know first who had done this to you. Hey, 82 years ago today, U.S. Air P-38 fighters ambushed an inspection flight by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, mastermind of the attack on Pearl Harbor, shooting down his plane and deleting him. That is an amazing piece of American history. That in itself could be a movie. And if you haven't, please do this. It would be great. Welcome to the weekday show. We do this one usually on Friday, and it's usually if Tuesday or Thursday didn't go down. This week, things have just been... There was a wave of weird across all of YouTube, right? Let's talk about it. Packlets be packing. They're packing a booster beam is what they be packing. The wave of weird across all of YouTube in the last 7 days, ending about 2 days ago, where hopefully things are now a little less chaotic. The wave of weird included like massive bottings over and over and over, just like one attack after another, sometimes stacked attacks, the AI attack and the sock puppet attack, along with the lurking, non-interacting attack, all just like aimed one after another at like attacking and punishing this channel. They didn't take away our joy in giving you this broadcast. They didn't take away our enjoyment. They took away some watch hours that we'll make up and get back. Someone tried to spin up the uploads and fuck with them. It didn't work. YouTube caught on to it. But we also saw someone take down a couple of friends' channels with similar underhanded methods. And this is what I have to say about that. You know why I don't like to be anyone's primary antagonist, Germ?
Why?
Because in life, there's bad things gonna happen. But when your true north is every time something bad happens to me, you show up, praise it, say that people should pile on it, and justify how it's okay because it's me. If that's your true north and you do that for a whole fucking year, you've kind of introduced a whole different dynamic of how things work.
Yeah. Does seem rather obvious when something bad happens, too. You're going to be the number one suspect.
That's why being someone's primary antagonist is a waste of time. I am no one's primary antagonist, although, you know, I will say this. I have been unfairly antagonized, and I have been, in context, fairly calm about the way I've responded. We need to watch The Gallant Hours on a Watch Party. Such an excellent movie, and they do mention Yamamoto's ending in it. I'll watch it. Yeah, I want to watch it. If we could get our panel together more, I would watch and review more stuff because I think we have a great panel. If we could get either JT or Germ and you know any two or three of us can review anything. Any one of us could review anything, but any two or three of us starts to turn into a pretty good discussion, a discussion that I know I always enjoy. I'll watch this movie. I like hanging out with my pals watching movies and Star Trek. It's what makes me want to have a YouTube channel. It's like when they ask Conan what is best in life, like what is best on YouTube, Germ? Back in the good old days, I guess it would be to put the StreamYard's link in the chat, to have anyone on, and to kick people when they become an asshole. Right? I mean, that's what it used to be.
Yeah. And then we had to get literal dicks coming up on the channel.
Unfortunately, what happened was the same people who ruined putting the StreamYard's link in the chat then went on to ruin having YouTube chat groups. The same people behind that started selectively publishing what they said were other people's correspondences. All we know is they lied to get them. You had to lie to get the private correspondence. You said that you lied to the person to get it, and you published it. So once the person says, hey, check it out, I got this by lying, I don't know if first of all, I might just turn away on principle, right?
Well, once they say they got it by lying, that pretty much invalidates whatever they publish because they lied once, they may be lying to you too.
Jimmy Cagney as Bull Halsey, a classic war movie, right up Mark's alley. You know what? That seems to be, this would be a great watch it with the members and then go live and review it kind of movie. Because we're going to be doing that more. We'll give people an opportunity to jump in here with us, but as you can see, we have just non-stop sort of challenges here, and we only have like a narrow window where we're really able to do our own thing and have free reign over our environment. And now it kind of looks like it's turned into sort of a pissing contest with the pack-leds trying to charge weapons. Tactical, continue to keep an eye on the pack-leds. If you see them trying to target us, take them out. I can't believe it. I think you're going to jump to warp. What do you think?
They have to be getting close.
It's an untenable federation of uninteresting individuals over there, too. So, like, basically, when you test the fabric of space-time like that, you're really putting yourself into a difficult position. But we will see Pack-Led's going to Pack-Led. You know what? In Star Trek news, I did talk to the people over at Midnight's Edge. I should probably go clip a couple of sound bites from it, but I did get on the Midnight's Edge member stream. I talked to Tom and Andre. I said this yesterday to Crimlon. I guess some of you will hear it for the first time now. When I asked them, and I went there, rather than asking this time, I had some questions that I needed just Rather than questions to answers, I was only asking questions of validation to Tom and Andre. And I think I surprised them a little. But like, they were cool, as they always are cool. And if you want to support, people who are spreading information that maybe is a little bit embarrassing and maybe is helping get Hollywood in line, people like Doomcock and certainly Midnight's Edge are worth your time. And I've been a Midnight's Edge member for like 2 or 3 years now. It's a really freaking long time. And I don't regret it. They're always so courteous to me. And usually when I say to them, tell me everything you know about Star Trek, they always do. And they're really fulsome about it, to the point where like they got like Andre usually has to like calm Tom down and then move on to the next person because we get passionate about it. And a couple of times Andre has gotten fired up in his frustration with Star Trek. So the last 4 or 5 times it's like we can't tell because this Columbia sale can't, this Universal the Paramount sale can't go down because of the CBS part and CBS News and some litigation. So we have the Ellisons, who we don't know what they want, but most indications are they would prefer to be away from the situation and have the Star Trek thing either cooling off without a bunch of terrible new Star Trek or be relaunching the franchise. But either way, anything would be better. They're not authorizing this particular Star Trek, and they're not authorizing this particular venture, and there's no adults in the house. So I went to the Midnight's Edge member chat, and I said to Tom and Andre, would you categorize the Star Trek going on now? After I had them verify for me that the sale's not done, and the reasons are why I thought they were, I said, would you agree with me in saying that this Star Trek that they're making now is off-brand and unauthorized? And with an enthusiasm in his voice, Andre said yes. He may have even said absolutely yes. And Tom was right in there with a yes.
That's an interesting and very satisfying way to think about it.
What I said to them is, I hope you'll join me in calling it off-brand, unauthorized Star Trek. It's unauthorized. I hope that you'll say as much. But, you don't give them orders. Obviously, it's their channel. But I did say, I hope you'll join with me in doing that. And I hope that all of you will join with me in calling it that. It's unauthorized Star Trek. It's unauthorized. It's not real. It can't be canonical. If we have no indication, well, you know what? If this isn't unauthorized Star Trek, where is the statement from the would-be owners authorizing it? This is Star Trek that's going out there simply because there's no stopping it. Unauthorized Star Trek is not Star Trek. And honestly, anything after 2005 doesn't seem to be Star Trek. The 6604 continuity seems to be the way to put it, huh?
Yeah.
We need to understand one thing as Star Trek fans. We got done dirty by Hollywood, and we got done dirty by JJ, and we're not going to shrink back from protecting what we have. We can take this franchise back with legal means, without doing anything that's untoward. We don't have to, go after anyone on X. We don't have to do anything like that. We will just have a show where we give people an opportunity to watch what they're doing to Star Trek, and then we'll talk about what we saw. And we'll see how people think about it. We'll see what people think about it. We'll just see what you think about your Star Trek and what they're doing to it when we show it to you. And we tell you that this is not Star Trek, you're going to be saying, hell yeah, it's not. There's no way this is Star Trek. And you know what? After Section 31, the idea that anyone would authorize more Star Trek, it's not just like wrong. It is, oh geez, is everyone having this problem? Browsers and YouTube, am I right?
Yeah, that's, I don't know, if you don't use it in the app, YouTube gets kind of weird.
It's infuriating. All right, so I'm using it in their own environment. It should be no problem. But you know what? Those Packlids, they are staying out there even though the heat shield has come off their ship. Do they think they have some kind of primary weapon? They won't even punch through our navigational shields with what they have. What? Why are the... Can you assess the Packwood's action? Have they just gone mad? Are they drinking Saurian brandy?
I think they either don't know or don't care that they're at risk of blowing their ship up.
I'm not going to contribute to it. They are idiots. Boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, so it's going across. It's a wave hitting everybody? All right, so about 20 past the hour, a wave hit. I don't know if I'll be around to time the next one as far as live. We are getting to the end of our overtime, but it has been such a great pleasure to meet with all of you guys. And I know, Germ, you're going to probably be on tomorrow morning. What do you got for us?
Tomorrow morning, we have Jackie Chan Adventures.
The Jackie Chan Adventures animated Saturday morning cartoon. Excellent. And then tomorrow night we have... I think tomorrow night is Catwalk on Star Trek. Appropriately on Easter, huh?
Yeah. I'll do my best to be there.
If you could make it, that'd be great. If not, I understand. The new start time is like closer to 1:45. If you want to get there at 10, you could do that. You don't have to be there at kickoff time. It's going to be probably a briefer show than usual because there's a holiday on Sunday. I don't know if people will know this one, but happy holiday, happy Easter to everybody who celebrates, to all who apply. And, you know, I'm going to be celebrating it. I'm going to see my mom, and I hope that everyone has a great Easter. But, you know, before then, I will be back on Saturday night at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'll be on with Northern English Bastard, where I will be giving my takes on Season 2 of Miami Vice. Germ is on at 11 Eastern Standard Time, correct?
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, we loved having this show and being here with all you guys. And that's what we got for you today. I think that these fine people have earned Sydney Sweeney. I think they've earned it. All right, guys. We're out. We love you. This program was brought to you by Admiral Teag, Resolute Germ, and the support of Star Trek fans like you, and Sean Carter and Jason Love. We thank you all, and I'll see you next time. It's been a blast. It's me, your buddy, Admiral Teag. I'll see you out there.